Welcome to Integrity Inspire, your daily dose of inspiration and motivation, featuring the bright and talented members of the Integrity Marketing Group family. Now, here's your host, Integrity co-founder and CEO, Brian W. Adams.
Well, hey, everybody, this is Brian Adams. Thank you so much for joining the Inspire podcast. It's always great to be with you and kick off our week together. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by a member of the Integrity family who happens to be a living legend in the insurance business and also has been a close friend of mine and a lot of ours for many, many years. Bobby Richardson, who was co-president of McNerney Management Group for many years and recently joined the Integrity platform as Dan, David, Bobby, and Joanne all joined the Integrity platform. McNerney Management is division Senior Benefit Services and Senior Marketing Specialists are some of the absolutely best names and most respected names in the insurance business. Along with his partners, Dan McNerney, David McNerney, Joanne Ray, Bobby has played just a huge role in building the company into what it is today. Bobby has now retired from day-to-day business operations at MMG, but continues to provide us with valuable insights and advice as an Integrity partner. I know for a fact that Bobby is one of his favorite aspects of his career was teaching and training people to become true advisors to seniors all across the country. And back in 2005, I remember sitting in and listening to Bobby and David and Dan and the team talk about how to really take and make key producers and create this incredible model about really shaping people into insurance professionals that really serve a lot of people. And it was something that had a big impact on the way I look at the way that we support our advisors. And he has just done an incredible job for so many years. In fact, in his 40 years in the business, Bobby has seen it all, and he's always willing and ready to share his experience with anyone who asks. Bobby is one of the true good guys in the business, and his strong influence continues to be felt through the many professionals that he taught and trained and really helped build up into their own professional careers. So I'd love to welcome Bobby Richardson to the Inspire podcast. Bobby, we appreciate you taking out time of your busy schedule in retirement and spending some time with us, just sharing some of your knowledge and wisdom with the rest of the team. So, Bobby, thank you so much for joining us here, man.
Wow. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. I don't know that anybody's ever called me a legend, but maybe my wife has. But the way that she said it, I'm not sure it was meant to be a compliment. So, thank you.
Well, I know your grandkids think you're a legend. That's for sure. And as do we. Well, Bobby, you and Dan and David and Joanne, man, and the rest of the team. I mean, God, Clint Geyer, and I could just keep going with some of the amazing people there at McNerney Management Group. You guys just built something truly amazing with not only McNerney Management Group, but the affiliated companies. And with every guest we've had here on the Inspire podcast, it's become clear that certain experiences in their past have helped shape them to be successful in the future and really successful in their insurance careers. Was there a particular experience in your life that helped shape you? And maybe give us a little bit more about your background.
Sure. There were several things that had an influence on my business mind and being able to perform the way that I felt like I needed to accomplish my goals that I wanted to accomplish for myself and my family and life. There was a lot of mentors that I had along the way that definitely had a huge influence. And I believe that you got to have a lot of people that's there to help you and continue to support you and prop you up when you get a little down. And I've been blessed with having a tremendous amount of those. The team that you just mentioned with Dan and Dave and Joanne and Clint and many others, the staff that Amy and Mary and many others that were a part of that team so tremendously helped me and helped our company stay at the top level. I was born and raised in a little town in North Missouri, definitely right in the center of the north part of the state, about 25 to 30 miles south of the Iowa line. It was a little farming community, and the name of the town was Milan. And it was a great little town that I think the population was around 1,000 people. And I think they might have been counting a few of the dogs and cats to get it to 1,000 people, but it was built on the highest hill in Sullivan County. And they had a courthouse, and around the courthouse, they had all of the businesses. We called it the square that was around around the courthouse there. And during the summer months, your jobs consisted of going out and helping the local farmers prepare their land for the crops or pick up hay, and so it was it was a very, very strong work ethic that was around the town. You knew that when you went to work for a farmer, you were definitely going to have to work, and the pay at that point in time wasn't going to be a whole lot. But one of the influences that came from that town was a gentleman by the name of Raymond Wheeler. And I can't say that I really knew him, but I knew who he was. And Raymond had a business there in that town, and I know that when he got started in that business, it was one that I think back on a tremendous amount right now, and all the way through my career, because my dad and I would be going down the road and he'd see Raymond coming, and the business that Raymond had was the trash business. And he'd see Raymond coming and he would make the comment to me, he'd say, "Hey, Bob, that's one of the smartest gentlemen in Sullivan County." And I never really thought a whole lot about that, but Raymond had one horse and he had a 4-wheeled wood wagon that had one seat on it. And he had this trash business where he'd go around to everybody in the community, and he would haul their trash to the dump for them. But he would do that, and everybody in the community paid him $10 a month to do that. Now, if you stop and think about it, there was probably, I don't know, 500-600 houses there in Milan. You know, you start to do the math on that, and this was in the mid-'60s. So, you know, everybody was paying him $10 a month. Let's say there was 5 houses there, or 500 houses there that was doing that. You know, that was about $5,000 a month income that he had coming in. The only overhead that he had was this horse, and this horse happened to be named Daisy. And this was a smart horse, because Raymond would ride that wagon and that horse to the top of the hill, and he would get off the wagon and he'd say, "Okay, Daisy, come on." And Daisy would start walking down the street, and Raymond would walk beside the wagon, not on the wagon, and he would pick up your trash. We didn't have plastic bags back then. We had trash cans. We burned all of the paper stuff and products in burn barrels that everybody had behind their house, but he would pick up the trash cans that had the tin cans and stuff like that in it, and he'd dump it in his wagon, and he'd walk on, and Daisy would follow him. And as a kid, I kept thinking that was the smartest horse I'd ever seen in my life. He'd be walking down through, and one of the neighbors would pop out and say, "Hey, Raymond, how's it going today?" And he'd stop and talk to the neighbor, and he'd look out on the street, and he'd say, "Whoa, Daisy." And Daisy would stop. And then when he was ready to go on, he would say, "Come on, Daisy." And Daisy would take off again and walk at a small pace. And he worked 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, and he broke the town down into 4 sections. So thinking back on it, my dad was right. Pretty smart guy. He's only working 4 days a week. He had 3-day weekends every weekend, and everybody in the community was paying him some money. Everybody in the community had a service that they wanted Raymond to do. Now, when you looked at Raymond wasn't the prettiest guy that you'd ever seen. he wasn't a fancy dresser either, and he never smelled very good because of the trash business that he was in. But my dad, when he'd say he was the smartest man in the county, it took me a few years to figure out that Raymond did have it pretty well whipped. He had it taken care of, because if you were making $60,000, $70,000 a year in the mid-60s in a small community like Milan, Missouri, you got to say that he had something figured out on how to serve people and provide a service to them. So he was one of the first businessmen that I knew. And it took me a while when I got into the insurance business. I would look back on that and I would think, when I go into a community, how many people in this community can I get that's going to do business with me? Get them to buy one policy from me. And if I can get them paying me $10, $12, $15 a month in renewal, and I can get that business built up to where I have 300 to 400 clients out there, that was the true benefits that I seen about being in the insurance industry. That was being a businessman. That was thinking about how to be successful in this business. And that's one of the things that Dave and Dan and Joanne and I and Clint to this day still talk to our agents about, that magic number of 300 to 400 clients. Once you get there, you've got it mastered. You've got it made. Now you can start figuring out how to maximize your business. So that came from a little community that, again, it was a sports-related community. It was a community that it was all about its football. I played football and played a lot of team sports through my years in high school. Actually went to college on a football scholarship in El Dorado, Kansas, Butler County Community College. Got hurt, came back to Milan, didn't think that I wanted to go back to school if I couldn't play football. So I got a job there, and while I was off at school, my mom had bought an insurance policy from a gentleman that worked with the Larry Barnes Insurance Agency. And it wasn't long after I got back that he had got me an interview with Larry Barnes. And I got a chance to, at that point in time, Brian, meet Larry. And then very quickly after that, meet one of my best friends in the world, and Dan McNerney. And the rest is history.
Wow. And so first of all, that's an amazing story, and I want to come back to a part of it. But the Larry Barnes Insurance Agency ended up becoming McNerney Management Group, right? That
yep.
was what a small world of how all that tied back together. That Dan McNerney ended up acquiring the Barnes Group, and then you guys have just taken that to a whole different level, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was the thing that I noticed when I started with this organization. I was taught at a young age that you are where you are because of the choices that you've made, whether it's good or bad. If you don't like where you're at, you're going to have to figure out how to make new and different choices to change your position. And that was the thing that when I went for the interview and Larry Barnes sat down with me and he talked to me about the 4 things that the average person wants, but most don't have the opportunity to get. And that was a new home, be able to build a new home and be able to go out and buy a new car and be able to go out and spoil yourself and buy a new boat and then be the largest depositor in your community in the bank. That was the 4 things that the average man wanted, but most of us didn't have an opportunity to do that. And when Larry went through that with me, I was sitting across the table from him and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. And that's the opportunity that I'm looking for, is put myself in a position to be able to write my own paycheck every week. And that's what our business really did for me. And, some of the bonus things that came along with that was the opportunity to get to know Dan McNerney. And Dan and I hit it off pretty good at the very beginning of it. And it was a dream that we had to maximize the positions that we were in. So we had a lot of fun over the years and helped a lot of people become successful. And that was one of our little themes, was it had to be a win-win situation. it had to be a win for the person that we're helping first before it had to be a win for us. If we couldn't make them successful, we knew that we wasn't going to be successful. So it was a hell of a ride, and it was a lot of fun, and it's something that I'm very, very proud of right now.
Well, as you should be. You know, going back to that story about the trash business. I think all too often people look for this kind of get rich quick scheme or something that, man, like if I could just come up with this one idea and I could be able to make it, or even in sales. I mean, people think all too often, man, if I could just get this one big sell, right? But the truth is, most of the most successful people that I've ever met are people who have focused on just serving people one policy at a time or one sell at a time, and not looking for the home run. My son is playing baseball right now. He's 8 years old, so it's pretty. He's playing 9U, which is the beginning of a kid pitch where the kids are pitching, and I got to tell you, man, it's horrible. Like if you've ever been out at a baseball diamond watching 9-year-olds pitch, it's very slow. There's not many good pitches thrown, and the key is it's not about like trying to hit a home run. It's just get on base, because if you get on base, then you can start stealing, and then if you get on base, there's like a 90% chance you're going to score a run. So I've been having to tell my son this a lot, like, hey, don't swing so hard. Just try to get on base. Like if you just get on base, then you have a chance to help your team and get a run. And that's so hard for people. Even at 9 years old or 8 years old, as Asher is, we're just kind of like innately formed, I think, to go, I want to get the big swing, or I want to have that big sell, or that big opportunity, that kind of get rich quick type of mentality. But the truth is, some of the most successful people are like the guy who you're talking about that has the trash business. He's doing something that nobody else wants to do. And he's willing to go out there and do it, and take care of people. He's willing to not dress well. He's willing to smell bad. He's willing to do those things. But everybody respected him and liked him because he was taking care of the service that they needed. And that's kind of the opportunity, I think, that even as we talk about people getting into the insurance business, and I know you've brought in so many people into this business and really helped train them up. And you guys have just done it in such a great, methodical way of saying, like, let me help you get started. And you guys have never been about the flash. It's never been about let's go and have, one exceptional year and then let's all take off. Let's get out there and get a base hit every day, right? And then after a while, you build up to 300 to 400 clients. And then you can kind of breathe a little bit, I guess, or then you've got the opportunity to continue to build upon that. What do you think as you're kind of giving advice to new people in the business today, or I know you guys brought up Quint Geyer, who's just an exceptional leader, and he did the internship with you guys, and then he's raised up the. You guys raised him up to kind of help lead the career side of your business now. What is the advice you're giving young people as they come into the business and say, like, you need to do these type of things to be successful in today's age?
That's a great question, but it's also a fun question for me to answer, because Brian, that's what I felt my focus was, and all of our focus was bringing in new people into this business. And first thing we would say to them, we would talk to them about, what's your big goals? What do you want to accomplish in life? And one of the questions we would always ask was, if we could write a book and 3 years from now we could have the perfect ending, and it was your ending that you wanted, where would you like to be in 3 years? And then we would get that out on the table, and then we would say, now, what we're going to do is we're going to teach you a system that's going to allow you to get there. We're going to teach you an 8-step closing process that you're going to go out and you're going to do nothing but focus on that. And it's going to allow you to accomplish these goals. What we want you to focus on when you get started is your activity level, not your end result. Because we believe that if we can keep your activity level at a certain pace, then your end result will be there for you. So, and, you know, I played a lot of team sports, Brian, and I'm not sure how you found out about this, but somebody asked me about my boxing career, and I did a little boxing during my younger days too. And one of the reasons that I was encouraged to do that is I wanted to be in an individual sport. And when you're boxing, you have a team of people while you're training that's teaching you the basics, that's preparing you for the fight that you're about to go into. And the focus is on the preparation for the fight. And that's the teamwork, the team concept of it. But when you step into that ring for the first time, the team stops at the corner that you step in, and you look across the ring, and there's another gentleman standing there on the other side that's going to take your head off if you're not prepared for what he brings to the table. So now the saying of, if it is to be, it's up to me, became a reality to me. So I had to stay focused on the basics. I had to stay focused on my preparation that I had before I got into that ring. Just like a new agent does when he or she gets started today, is they have to stay focused on their activity level, how they're getting prepared to go out into that sales field. And then once they get out into that sales field, it's all about the activity. Don't worry about the end results. You're going to know sooner or later, if you give X number of presentations, you're going to have X number of sales. And we just got to back into the numbers, very similar to what Raymond Wheeler did with his trash business. He knew that anytime that there was a new person that moved into a house, he was going to be the first one there to talk to them about the service that he provided. Well, we do the same thing with the insurance business. And as we got people started into this business, we always talk to them about the magic of 300. Your focus right now needs to be on getting 300 clients. When you get to that level, you've got a very, very good chance that you're going to make it in this business. When you get to the 400 level, you've made it. And then you can actually stop at that point in time and start working with those clientele. You should never, ever have to worry about spending another dime on leads, because you should be able to use that number of clients to keep you in referrals and continue to build your business from there. You know, I know you guys have just announced the Medicare Center, and I look at that thing and my mouth waters. I wish I would have had something like that back when I was getting started in the business, because now I was just talking about 300 and 400 clients. We have agents in our business now that started right out of college. And you mentioned Clint Geyer. He was one of them that went through one of our intern programs and then became an agent with us. And now he's the vice president of sales on the senior benefit services side. You put something like the Medicare Center in front of an agent like that already has 1,000 to 1,200 clients, and they have a way now to be more efficient and see more people and have more than one company and have it all done through one little program that they can carry around in their pocket. Now you're talking about being able to extend that 300-400 client to 1,000 to 1,200, or if you're a top salesperson, you could take that 1,200 to 1,500, 1,200 to 1,500 to 1,800 clients. It takes the limit off of what our thinking can be moving forward in the future, and it truly does. It's a game changer. I've heard you talk about it being a game changer, Brian. It is definitely a game changer in this business for all agents, no matter what level that they're at.
Well, you know, I think what it does is you were just talking about, you're from a town of about 1,000 people, right? I'm from a town of 1,800 people, which is just it's always kind of amazing when you kind of think about those type of things. But what it, just like you were talking about Raymond Wheeler being able to serve everybody in town, making just a little bit off of every one of them and providing an incredible service, what it allows you to do now is be able to leverage up your size and your scale to where you can also serve essentially everybody in the equivalent of what yours in my hometown was, where before you could never have been able to do that, right? And so that's where I tell agents this all the time is we never have a sales problem. And I really believe this. Agents, we'll talk to an agent and go, oh, man, it's just not making enough sales. My sales aren't right. And my issue, my point of that is you never have a sales problem. You have a presentation problem. If you can make more presentations, which takes a lot of discipline to get to that, to get to the activity, and it all starts with the activities funnel, right? And if you can get out there and make enough appointments and the contacts, then you'll end up with enough presentations. And then if you get somebody in the home and they've been trained well, then they can make the sales. And so when an agent says, man, I'm just feeling like I'm just not getting, my sales aren't high enough, and they get frustrated, you automatically come back to, well, let's talk about your activity. And what Medicare Center, just like you were just talking about, what our investment in Medicare Center is designed to do is to make it much more efficient for an agent and to be able to serve more people, to build up a bigger book of people, and to make it in a much more compliant setting. And here's the deal is, just like your friend Raymond Wheeler, that there were people who needed the trash service, right? There's more people out there than we have agents for that need the products, especially in the Medicare side and the life insurance side. There's more people that need our products than we have agents for. And so we've got to leverage up our processes so that people can even be more excited and be able to be more effective to go out there and serve more people. And so as we're entering into this AEP, I believe we're really and truly entering into this golden age of insurance sales and marketing. And that now with all the technology that we've got and that we're developing here at Integrity, it will help transform our business in ways that I think will be amazing for us to all look back upon and try to be able to help more people. I remember in those old days, I mean, you and I, whenever we first got into the business, the application was on a brochure. You remember those days? Just a brochure, and you take off one of the panels, and that was the application. Well, today you're just using it in a much more efficient way with, as you said, you're carrying it all in your pocket on your cell phone or other ways, and it's great that you can. We can all kind of recognize that vision and continue to be able to develop it in a much bigger way. So, as you wound down your insurance career, and I know you're as passionate as I am about helping more people get into this business and be able to support people, as you've kind of taken on a more mentoring role, and you've slowed down and you've retired from day-to-day operations. What are you spending your time on now, Bobby?
I spend a lot of time at the farm. We have a farm. My son and I spend a lot of time at the farm. We will probably here in about 2 weeks, harvest will be starting. We have beans in the field right now that we'll need to be taking out, and at the same time that we're taking the beans out, we're going to be preparing the ground for the next crop that's going to go in, whether that be wheat or whether that'll be corn next planting season. So we'll spend probably the next month and a half up there at the farm getting that all squared away, and then hunting season will be here at the beginning of November, and I'll spend probably the month of November hunting and love deer hunting, and it's a family deal for us. So we'll spend a lot of time doing that, and then come January and February and March, my wife and I have plans to travel south a little bit and get a little bit warmer temperatures and everything. But also before we head south in January, my oldest son and I, we got into the tractor pulling business here. It's probably been about 12 years ago now. And one of the things that I truly enjoy doing now that I think is I'm really blessed to be able to do this is to give back to the community. And if you don't mind me talking about this for just a little bit, the tractor pulling community is a small group of guys, a lot of farmers, a lot of excavators, but there's medical people, there's dentists that are involved in pulling and everything. There's a few doctors that are involved in it now, and lawyers that are involved in it. And one of the things that my son and a group of his people that he worked with is they wanted to do was have a pull that they donated all the money to one charity. And this particular charity happens to be a children's hospital here in town. It's the Women and Children's. It's called Women and Children's Regional Medical Center, and they have a unit in here in this hospital for small children that are born before their actual due date, and they have what's called a NICU unit. And they're always short on these, what they call omni-giraffe beds that they put these young children in. Basically, it's like an incubator that allows their organs to develop so that they can sustain life themselves. But some of them will have to spend a month, 2 months, 3 months, depending upon when they're born, how early they are. Could be as much as 6 months in these types of beds to get to where they can sustain life on their own. And this facility always ran short of these omni-giraffe beds. So they came up with the idea, and our whole family participated in it. Many, many families did. Even the McNerney Management Group family did. They all volunteered their services, and we have a huge tractor pull that they come from 6 different states. These pullers do, and everything that was made at that pull, even the money that the pullers won for winning, was all donated back. And this organization called High Limit Productions was able to donate over $40,000 in the year of 2019 to this hospital to buy one of these beds. And it was very, very exciting to be a part of that. And they were going to have that same pull again in 2020, but COVID and the pandemic has changed all of that, and they've not been able to get that arranged for this year. But they are going to have in January an auction, and some of the local people around are going to be donating some things that's going to be able to be auctioned off. And we may not reach the $40,000 level this year, but we're going to do everything we can to get there. Those beds at those hospitals cost $40,000 each. And that was our goal going into this, was to be able to buy one of those beds for the children. The children are the pillars of our community in the future, and we feel that it's very important. So my family and the boys and a lot of the people that we pull tractors with, they really, really get into this. And being able to spend my time now at the farm with my grandkids. I have 4 great grandkids that just love them to death, and then be able to give back to the community that gave so much to me. That's what I'm looking forward to more and more in the future. So January, we're going to be figuring that one out, Brian. So
well, that's awesome. Well, you know my story. Asher,
oh yes,
that we were talking about was baseball. He was born at 23 weeks, 17 weeks premature. He was in the NICU for 147 days. I know the impact of those beds incredibly well, just because we personally had to go through that and experience it. And so I love your heart behind that and what you guys are doing. And so when you guys figure that out in January, please let me and Robin know. We'd love to support that as well and participate in that, because we know personally how important that is. So we love what you're doing there, and it is amazing that as you achieve success, that I think it's more fun being able to give it away than anything else, and being able to help others. And so I know you feel very similar to that, and I love your heart behind what you guys are doing, and so we'd love to participate in that as well.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Hey, so we do have some people. I know it's going to be. I grew up in a small farming town too. But we got some people on this call. I guarantee, like Steve Segrets, our CFO, he grew up in London. Like, I guarantee he's listening to this right now, going, "What in the world is a tractor pull? And what is a puller?" So if you don't mind, just real quickly, explain what a tractor pull is and what's the idea behind it, because there's probably some other people who are in that same position.
Well, it's basically taking a tractor that you see every day out in the fields that is plowing or disking or turning the ground over, and you take a normal tractor that comes out of the factory that's going to produce somewhere between 200 and 250 horsepower in that motor to be able to do that. And we take that particular type of a motor and we bore it all out in the center of it and put a lot of racing parts and stuff in it. We take that from 250 to somewhere between 1,000 and 2,800 horsepower, and we hook it to a mechanical sled that has spikes on the back of it that they put us on a track that is 300 foot long, and it's to see based off different classes, different size motors, different size turbos that you use. And it's a competition to see who can pull this mechanical sled the farthest and down the track, and being 300 foot being a full pull. So it's just like NASCAR or whatever. It's a competition that goes on, and we're a member of what's called the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling Team, and we travel 3 states pulling. So it's a yearly event. It's you have different competitions in different fairs and things of that nature, but you're really focusing on not only winning that pull that night, but you want to win the points championship also. So it's a lot of fun. My whole family gets into it. My son does most of the driving. At the beginning of it, we shared a lot of the driving on it. It's a very, very expensive sport that, to be very honest with you, you never, ever get any money back on it to come even close to paying for what you're doing. But it is a very entertaining sport, very entertaining for the crowd. And if you like to listen to something that sounds like it's got a lot of power, and it does have a lot of power, it's fun to watch that happen. So that's what a tractor pull is. Wow.
Well, it's thanks for giving us some more information. So it's a race with a tractor, and see how far you can get. Well, I think like you're talking about Medicare Center, very similar, is like trying to give agents more power to go farther, right? To be able to have more tools and resources, and to be able to have more capacity to take it from whatever you're accustomed to. You said like 250 or whatever to 2,800. Well, it's similar to what we're trying to do with agents here. Is we're helping them go from a few hundred clients to thousands of clients in some ways, and help serve more people. So it's very, very tied into even that tractor pull mentality. And then whenever you can do that with the heart of giving, like what you guys are doing with the NICU beds, there's no telling how many people you can help. And so we wish you the best of luck on all of that. And that there's a lot of correlations I think you can have between all the things that we do in this business and the things you talked about with the trash business and tractor pulling, et cetera, which is really exciting. So, Bobby, we really appreciate your partnership, appreciate the opportunity to be with you today and share some of your sage advice with all of us. And we wish you guys the best in everything you're doing, and thank you for for your leadership in the integrity platform as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And appreciate having the opportunity to visit.
Well, Bobby, there's nobody more deserving of a bountiful harvest than you, and I'm so glad that you're enjoying your retirement. I'm grateful to be able to tap into some of your wise perspective here today. Like you, I'm excited about the future of our business, and Medicare Center is indeed a powerful system, and it's just one of the ways here at Integrity that we're using technologies and systems to help transform our industry for the better. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll let you get back to your tractor and get back to work, and hope everybody just has a fabulous week. Thanks again, Bobby, for sharing your wisdom and some of your fun stories, and really tying that back into how we can create more power in this business and leverage some of our capabilities to help even more people. So hope everybody has a blessed day and a great week, and look forward to talking with you guys all again soon. Take care and God bless you.